Hi everyone, Nathan Bowman with Draper Incorporated. Today we are going to discuss the new IntelliFlex IO DC low voltage system. Specifically, we're going to talk about the power panels, wiring practices, troubleshooting, and the general layout of the power panel. With the 12 motor power panel, as you can see, we have 12 motor ports. These are color-coded yellow to indicate a motor. Next to that, we have the network in and out ports. This is going to be familiar if you have worked with IntelliFlex IO before. This is where we are going to build our control leg, our low voltage leg for our controls. The IP A and B port will act as an IP gateway for the power panel for connecting power panel to power panel or for floor-to-floor riser connectivity. And finally, we do have a power switch on the back of the power panel. If you have wired your motors in and you are getting no LEDs, or if you have nothing else wired into your power panel, but at a very minimum, you do not have a single network status flash, it may be that your power panel is not powered on. Simply flip the switch on the back, and now we have power. First thing we'd like to talk about is the best wiring practices. As you can see, we're working with a 12 motor power panel. We do have a 6 motor also available. So let's go ahead and dive right into the wiring. So first thing is first, you want to make sure that each of your motors is home run back to an individual port on the power panel. You cannot daisy chain your motors together back to a single port. So let's start out by plugging our motors in. Motor 1 goes in M1 port. And as you can see, as I plug this in, the LEDs begin to flicker. A green LED is good. That will flicker on and off for just a few seconds. What we should be looking for is after about 5 to 10 seconds, we want that LED to come on solid green and stay on. We will continue down the line, plugging motor 2 through 6 in. As you can see, we have each of our motor cables labeled to coordinate with the port that it needs to plug into on the panel. This can make things easier for a troubleshooting standpoint if you need to go back for a service call. So as you can see here, now that all 6 motors are plugged in, we have 6 solid green LEDs. If you have anything other than solid green LEDs, please stop and we will need to troubleshoot. As we're looking at the power panel, you can see that each motor port has its own corresponding LED. This power panel is made to be rack mounted, as you see it here, or it can come pre-installed in a UL certified enclosure, at which point you will need to see the LEDs on the top. So we have incorporated LEDs on the face as well on the top of the power panel for easier troubleshooting. Okay, touching on the LEDs, one thing we want to make sure that we do not have is a red LED. A red LED can indicate that you have something plugged into the port that is not a motor, or the motor or motor cable is bad. For instance, I will now depict plugging a wall switch into the motor port. As you can see, as soon as I plug the switch in, the LED went red to indicate that I have plugged a device into the motor port, which is not a motor. This does not damage the switch. It is just a visual representation to indicate that you do not have a motor plugged into the motor port. If you do have a motor plugged into the motor port and are still getting a red LED, we will need to troubleshoot the motor and or the motor wire. Finally, we would like to discuss the network status LED on the far right side of the power panel. This is going to indicate the amount of total devices that are connected into this power panel. As you can see here, I have 6 motors plugged in, no other devices to my network ports. So I'm going to have a total of 6 motors, so 6 devices plus the power panel for a total of 7 devices. So if I watch my network status LED, I should get 7 blinks to indicate 6 motors and 1 panel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you have any questions or concerns, please contact the Draper Technical Support Group at 1-800-238-7999 and select option 3.